What's up, everybody? It's your host, Prophecy, and welcome back to Rockin' the Poet Life with another episode where the customers become the guests. Now, if you want to be here with Miss Kelsey, if you want to be here in this seat, please purchase your gear at poetlifegear.com and DM us on Instagram. You can use the code Prophecy, that is PRXPHECY, at checkout for a discount, get you your free money, and get you a spot here on the show. Now, if you would enjoy just introducing yourself, and we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah. Hi, I am Kelsey Bigelow. I'm a poet based in Des Moines, Iowa. And I don't know, I'm a big supporter of Poet Life.
So have you worked with the Poet Life, right?
I
Correct?
did. I helped jumpstart the Poet Life blog that
Hey,
was repurposing the podcast episodes.
yeah, tell me a little bit about that. How did that get started? What was your role and all that?
Christoph and I connected on LinkedIn because I had listened to a podcast episode and I posted about it on LinkedIn and we connected. And he saw that I was a writer. I had written my own short blog post about it on my own website. And he brought me in and was like, I've been wanting to get a blog started and I have the experience to do so. And so I helped him get that jump started and laid kind of the groundwork for it.
That's great because
Yeah.
that's a serious part of the Poet Life now. So that's kind of cool that you got to be there and help it kick off.
Yeah.
How long have you been into poetry?
I've been writing poetry since about 7th or 8th grade.
Okay.
I am now 28 for reference. Almost 28 in a couple months. I'm just officially saying I'm 28 apparently.
Yeah.
Um, but I've been seriously writing poetry since I was 21, and performing just for the last 4 years. So writing poetry, I'm not new, but performing, I would say I'm still fairly new in the last few years.
Wow, congratulations. It's like sounds like you kind of grew up with poetry in your life.
Hmm.
That's great. I started in like 10th grade, so you have a leg up on me.
Just a
But
couple years.
yeah, just a few. Um, but poetry being such a reviving art right now, it's really
Mhm.
important to as a poet show off that you are a poet and what you can do, which kind of leads me into the fact that you're wearing this Poet Life top right now. Tell me a little bit about what it means to you to represent the poet life. Not just a brand, but literally being a poet and that poetry is your lifestyle. What does that mean to you?
It's it's about for a while, it was about normalizing poetry as a valid and creative outlet. A lot of people go through a lot of crap in life, and it's a good way to process things that you've gone through, as well as letting people know that it's a good, healthy outlet. And long before I knew Poet Life was a thing, I was always talking about the life of a poet and using hashtag poet life on my own social media. And it really just became about showing that this is another way, another kind of lifestyle. And there's a whole community here. There's a family. There's just a whole support system here that was very much under wraps for a very long time. And you're right, it's reviving right now. And I was just talking about this last night with someone of how it's cool now. It's it's not weird to be a
Yeah,
poet
yeah,
anymore, and I think that's part of the thing about wearing Poet Life. Literally, the words poet, even just the word poet, publicly is showing people we exist, we're here, we're normal for the most part,
yeah,
and we're here. We're a lifestyle, and we're valid. I think it's a lot about validating.
yeah. I agree.
I'm just
I think
representing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, poetry is now like one of those things, almost like when you see any kind of performing artist, like a singer or a rapper or anything like that, except
Hmm.
it's not that you already knew them, it's that you know what they do. So like they're
Hmm.
like, oh, you're a poet, like because there's like it's like a 1% kind of thing. There's not that many poets around to just be like, yeah, I know a poet, or I saw a poet today. People
Yeah.
think poetry. A lot of people think the stuff that you get in 10th, 11th grade. That's your Shakespeare's and
Yep.
everything, and it's not me or you. People performing at bars and being keynote speakers and
Mhm.
inaugural speeches, during election.
Right?
Right. Like
Yeah,
people don't think of poetry like that. And now we're in a space to make that the perception rather than what it's been. And I think it's
absolutely.
it's such a cool thing to be able to represent. Um,
Mhm.
but tell me a little bit more about, your personal poetry career. I mean, do you perform around town? Are you more on social media? How do you operate within your poetry?
Yeah, so I'll first talk pre-COVID. I was definitely performing around central Iowa, so not just here in Des Moines, but, cities, in the area, and, I have, I in 2018, I released my first poetry collection, and so I did a
Wow.
little mini tour with that, and,
Congratulations.
thank you. And so, yeah, I was kind of really building that up and going to, the schools in the area and different shows around central Iowa, as well as like book festivals. And then COVID hit, and as everybody knows, life stopped. And
Right.
so it definitely became more on social media. I, I will say it kind of took a bit of a back burner as I started working with Poet Life during COVID. It was a great way for me to do something and
Right.
not let mental health really drag me down during COVID. And so I appreciate Poet Life for giving me that and keeping me invested in poetry. And recently, I've been working on my first spoken word album, which is going to be released this fall, which has been super cool going into a recording studio and all of that.
Yeah.
But I've also been a judge for a couple for like a page poem contest as well as state slam and all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
yeah, it's been fun.
And that sounds so exciting. A whole
It is.
spoken word album. I couldn't imagine. Like that's great. Do you want to
It's
talk a little
surreal.
bit more about like the concept or anything that you want
Yeah.
to share?
So it's called Depression Holders and Secret Keepers,
Okay.
which is pulled from a line in one of my poems. And I was originally going to publish it as my second collection, but as I was putting it together, I realized like I wrote these poems as spoken word poems. I wrote them
Right.
for the stage and audio, like
Yeah.
auditory rather than being read. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make an album. And so it just the stars kind of aligned. The timing was perfect, and I got in touch with a recording studio here in Des Moines and have been working with them. And I've got a photographer I'm close with and designer I'm close with. It's like a whole team effort, and it's super fun. But yeah, it's about mental health and some traumatic experiences that I went through as a child that I'm working through now as an adult, in hopes of providing a way for others who maybe are going through some similar hardships to feel less alone in the world.
Yeah, that's amazing. Congratulations. I'm excited for it
Thank
to
you.
come out because I'm definitely gonna listen to that now. You sold me with that elevator pitch. I like that. I like that a lot. That's gonna
Thank
be
you.
great. Wow. I mean, just and I like that you acknowledge the kind of therapy that comes with poetry
Mhm.
because I'm definitely the same way. It's why I started writing. It's
Same.
almost like um, writing in a journal, but just kind of laying down your thoughts. But it's more than that. It
Yeah.
becomes more than that because it becomes shareable and it becomes relatable to other people, and then
Yeah.
eventually you realize like just even performing your what are basically just your thoughts to other people can help other people, and then it becomes this whole
Yeah.
big thing, and it's a beautiful art form. um yeah, that's I'm
I agree.
excited.
I love that so much. I love the connection that poetry brings to people in ways that you don't expect.
Right.
And it's a catharsis, but it's also just a genuine connection on a totally different level you can't get really anywhere else.
Yeah. Even
Mhm.
compared to, I mean, music or
Yeah.
dance or any other kind of creative expression, there's just something different about poetry. In my
It's so
opinion,
raw.
it's right. I was about to say, in my opinion, it's one of like the rawest forms of
Mhm.
creation that can be expressed. So that's
Yeah.
why us poets are so cool. I mean, that's why we're the 1%. That's why the poet life is so important. People need to
Ye
know this is the kind of people that are walking around right next to them.
yeah, I think there's also something with wearing the words "poet life." There's it's almost like saying you're a safe space. like,
Yeah,
"Hey, I'm here to listen. I'm here to connect if you need," kind of thing. Like that there's a mentality I think that comes with knowing someone's a poet and knowing that they can get to that kind of deep connection level.
yeah, I agree. I mean, the amount of people that ask me to like write poems for them, not even
Mhm.
like a specific topic, they just want to hear me write something
Yeah.
while thinking of them. Like it's just the way that poetry comes across to people who enjoy it and people who understand poetry for what it is. Like it's you can't get that in music or
Yeah.
watching somebody dance or any name it drawing, even with visual art. Like you just don't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's why I love
Yeah.
poetry. No,
I'm right there with you.
yeah. Uh, I will give you now the opportunity to plug anything else that you might want to plug, social medias, any other upcoming projects, or even if you wanted to talk more about something you've already acknowledged. Now is your time.
Yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram or TikTok at KelKB Poetry. I'm also on Facebook as Kelsey Bigelow Poetry. Um, And I would say, yeah, depression holders and secret keepers will come to any streaming service near you, meaning any streaming service in the digital world. This fall, stay tuned on my social for actual dates. Right now, you can find Sprig of Lilac, my first poetry collection, on Amazon. Or my website, or the links are all in my bio. So just find my social media and you'll find my stuff.
Oh, right there on the screen,
Right
KLKB
there. Oh,
Poetry.
there.
Boom. Go ahead. There you go. Yeah, go follow her. Give her all the attention because she deserves it. She's doing some amazing stuff. So thank you so much for coming on here. It's
Thank
been a
you.
great conversation. I'm glad we got to talk.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Of
Rock the
course.
poet life.
Rock the poet life. Now, oh, I should say again, if y'all want to be here and have amazing conversations about poetry and catharsis and plugging anything that you want to plug, come on and buy your stuff at thepoetlifegear.com and use your code prophecy. That is PRXPHECY as you see it on the screen underneath me. Where's it at? Over here. Boom, up, boom, right here. There you go. And come on the show and we'll have a good time.